Riding WA is sponsored by Triumph Motorcycles Australia. Hi, welcome to another episode of Riding WA. First off today, we're heading off with the Rocket 3 Club. Well, we're down at the Narrogin pub. I've just pulled in here. It's the Rocket 3 day out. These machines are going off on a day out. Where are you heading off to, Greg?
No idea.
You've got no idea. It's just a
tour, apparently.
It's a mystery tour.
Yeah.
Good. These machines are absolutely unbelievable. On the way in, I saw a sign that said "Beware heavy vehicles." It couldn't be any more perfect than for these bikes. 320 kilos dry. That's without any fuel. That's without 70 kilos of body on it. Am I being nice?
Very nice.
Mate, you've just bought this bike.
I have.
How do you like it?
Yeah, it's a bit scary to start with, but
is it?
Yeah. It's been a while since I've ridden bikes too, so it's to get on something like this, and yeah.
I believe you're going for a nice gentle drive, and I think there may be a pub involved.
I'm sure there will be at least one.
Yeah, well, I've looked at the owners of these bikes, and I can't see how they can even drive past one, to be honest with you. It's either pubs or Maccas. I think they're going to be stopping at one of the two. We're still down here at Narrogin. If you just look behind me, there's a lovely little Barina. Now look here, Triumph Rocket 3, 1300 cc's, 2.3. What's it like driving two Barinas?
Yeah, pretty fast. Cruising.
Mate, Martin, this is a beautiful machine. I've just looked at your paint job. Absolutely incredible. How long have you had this bike?
I've had this for 2 years now.
Yeah, and you really love your Rocket 3?
Never give it away, mate. Never.
Yeah. Now, we spoke to a guy just now who'd only just bought his Rocket 3, and at the moment he's still running in. Now, I've heard some stories about the acceleration on these things are quite incredible.
Yeah, they are. They reckon they believe they'll pull 1.2 Gs on them. I've had this one re-chipped and the exhaust changed, and it's given me about 144 horsepower out the back wheel now. So.
Right, well, these boys are about to head off very, very shortly on their little run for today. Apparently, Lionel, you're doing about 1,000 k's today. Did you know that?
No.
No, what word was that you just said? We might have to edit that, mate. Now, Lionel, this is a slightly different bike than the rest of them, being that you've got a big lump sticking out the side. I'm not on about you. I'm on about that thing down there. What is it?
So, my wife thinks it's a blow kit, but it's a supercharge.
It's a supercharge.
Yeah.
So you have supercharged a bike that can actually rip off your arms. You've now supercharged it as well.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's like bungee jumping all day long. It just blows your head off.
So it does pull away pretty good then, does it?
We got standard as 137 horsepower. I now have 237 horsepower.
237 horsepower.
With 200 newton meters of torque. It'll just pull your arms off.
You have to be kidding me.
I've had to change the clutch. Nev Lush's lock-up clutch. I had to change the clutch and just a continuous thing. Ended up costing me around $15,000.
How much?
15,000.
15,000. She doesn't know that either, does she? No, shame she's going to see this on TV, isn't it?
Recently, when we were up at Wanneroo Raceway, we had the chance to chat to Lindsay about his turbocharged nitrous oxide ZX14.
Okay, well, it's basically set up as a drag bike. Last season we ran it fairly all standard, doing under 10 seconds, 9/8 on it. I decided to put NOS on it late in the season. From there, I thought bugger it, went the whole way and decided to turbo it. So now we've got close to 300 rear wheel horsepower, and via the turbo and a few other mods, we're hoping to get anything below a 9 next season with a bit of luck, providing we can get the power to the ground and keep the wheel down.
I'd be expecting a lot lower than a 9. What would be the ultimate goal?
Oh, it's a bit hard to say without having wheelie bars on it, and a standard 190 rear tyre on it. 8.5s.
Yep.
Probably. It might be capable of more, but it just depends on the conditions.
What class does that categorise you as?
It's AA modified bike.
Yep. So it's no wheelie bars, standard rear tyre?
We're up against all the wheelie bar guys.
Oh, right,
There's virtually, you can do what you like in modified bike.
Ah, right.
You can have anything from a 600 to up to a 2.5 litre engine.
Yep.
And wheelie bars, whatnot, so there's really no restrictions.
How long has the bike taken to build up?
Probably I've only spent about the last 4 months putting the turbo on it. And we've still got a bit of dyno time. It's got to go back to Reluces this week and have a bit more work done on the tune.
Yep.
We had a few problems with the fuel pressure regulator at first, so we never really got to give it a proper run on the dyno. But hopefully we'll get that sorted out in the next week or two, ready for 1st of November.
Great. That's the start of the drag season?
That's the first national event, yeah.
So you'll be doing all the national rounds this year?
Yep, hopefully. Providing nothing drastically happens to it, we should be right. The first run will be probably next Monday. We're going to go to a couple of off-street meets, just to get the feel of it, and so we know what to expect.
So we're just going to get Lindsay to point out a few of the different gauges and cluster and instruments on the dash here. Hopefully start left and right for us if you can, Lindsay.
Okay, well the first one on the left here is just there on a temporary basis for now because we're running out of room. That's our fuel pressure gauge. Basically, it's mainly used as a tuning tool. In your low revs, you've got to keep your fuel pressure down to basically a standard fuel pressure, which is about 42 psi. And with your fuel pressure regulator, this gets adjusted to 1 psi per 1,000 RPM roughly.
Yep.
That allows more fuel in when it's in a boost condition. Therefore, it's really needed for tuning purposes. The next one over here, that's our boost gauge. That actually shows us what level of boost we're at with the turbo. This turbo is basically on a standard motor, and it's set to a maximum of 7 to 8 psi. Any higher than that, and we'd have melted pistons. So it's pretty important to keep an eye on that one. The two middle ones, obviously, they're muches. It's just your speedo and your tacho, and a temperature gauge, whatnot, the standard Kawasaki gauges. We move along to this one. This one's for the wideband commander. It's actually a data logging system on the bike for logging the air-fuel ratio. It'll log the RPM, throttle position, and the air-fuel ratio of the bike. Again, it's pretty critical with a turbo. If it exceeds 11.5 under boost, you run the risk of burning pistons as well. So it's another one you've got to watch out for. And the system in the middle here is the power commander. It's just the LCD display that actually controls the settings for the quick shifter, which is on the gear lever down the bottom. It basically, you can set the RPM and it blips the fuel for a few milliseconds and allows you to change gear without blipping the throttle. So you basically full throttle all the way, it'll blip the engine and they'll let you change up a gear. This is also capable of data logging. It data logs the throttle position, the fuel settings for the power commander, speed, gear you're in, a few other things. Yeah, basically that. You can also adjust the fuel trim and per cylinder and whatnot on the fly with it. So it does quite a bit. Comes in handy if you get time to look at it all. Okay, This is basically the micro switch. This works in with that multi-function hub and the screen you saw previously. You basically just keep your pressure applied to the gear stick when you take off, and as soon as you hit the preset RPM, it blips the fuel injection for a preset amount of time, usually 40 milliseconds, and that just causes the engine to pause for 40 milliseconds while the gears change. So basically you get full throttle gear changing without rolling off the throttle.
And now for the news. And first up on the news this week, a brand new superbike from Aprilia, the RSV4. Got some photos of it going on over there. It was announced about 6 months ago at the Milan Motor Show, where they lowered the bike into the stadium, fired it up, and it's a V4 999cc machine that's going to take on the 2009 World Superbike Championship. This thing is a radical technological powerhouse of a motorbike. It has variable frame geometry, which means that you can change the head stem angle, even the engine position and the swing arm location. If that doesn't make it a purebred race bike, I don't know what does. It's got the mandatory Öhlins front and rear suspension and the Brembo brakes up front and back. And it also features a, let's see, I've actually got it written down here because it's so hard to understand, a multi-mapping ride-by-wire technology system on it. From what I can understand, it's like traction control for a motorbike, which also means that you get variable power geometry whenever you twist the throttle. The bike also features a monoblock cylinder block, which is the first time in a production motorbike that the cylinders and the crankcase are being cast as one piece, as well as the cassette style gearbox that's almost mandatory on any superbike these days, will make it an absolutely fantastic machine. Hopefully we should see it here sometime around about mid-2009, but you'll need to see how Aprilia goes with that.
Before our next feature, we've got to remind you about the Kings of Wanneroo on the 7th, 8th and 9th of November at Barbagallo Raceway, staged by the Motorcycle Racing Club of WA. Now, I've got the latest list of riders that are coming over from in places like UK, Australia, New Zealand, Northern Ireland. They feature Carl Harris, Cameron Donald, Bruce Anstey, Ryan Farquhar, Michael Laverty, John Laverty, and many, many more riders will be taking to the track at Barbagallo Raceway on 7th, 8th and 9th of November for the Kings of Wanneroo. Make sure you pay a visit. Now we're heading off to the drags at Motorplex.
We're just down here with one of the Nitro Harley boys. Tell us a little bit about the bike.
She's a 160 cube Nitro Harley, bumping out roughly around 870 horsepower and running 6-second 200 mile an hour passes. The best I've done is 670 at 206 miles an hour.
All right, now the bike is radically different from anything I've seen before. Custom front to rear, I imagine?
It is, mate. Yeah, it's purpose built. The motor, it's all billet, and we've got a few good machinists on our team. They sit there and build it all up, fit it all up. Basically, it's a Jim McClure clone, a master frame builder puppet in America. He designed all the frame, and they're good for over 10 years if you look after them.
What's that frame made out of? Because that's some impressive steelwork on there.
Chrome moly, mate. Yeah, it's all chrome moly. Just to take the sheer horsepower these things hit off the line with, you know, like they twist, bend. But yeah, no, it's the best you can get on it.
we're with Wayne and Todd Patterson from Bunbury. Now, what bikes have you got, Wayne?
A couple of Ducatis, Simon.
Great. And Todd, what have you riding today?
Yeah, on the 1098 back there.
Excellent, excellent. And now, it's a very good setup you guys have got here. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
We come up to all the big meetings and race here on the national nights. And yeah, basically we're building a new drag bike as well, a twin turbo nitrous Ducati that we should have here this year, this new season coming.
Fantastic. Now, who will be riding that? Is that going to be Todd's bike or Wayne's bike?
Nah, it's for the old man.
Yeah, I'll be riding it. He's trying to kill me and claim my life insurance.
And inherit the bike while you're at it?
Yeah, no, it'll be good.
Excellent. So what sort of times have you been running?
Done a 9.8 on the Ducati over there, but not today. The track's a bit slippery.
Yeah, I'm running 10.2s today at 137 mile an hour.
Good. Yeah. Now, I understand drag racing is all about that 60-foot time. How do they sound?
Yeah, that's right. If you can get a good 60-foot time, then it sort of helps you do a good ET at the other end.
Yep. So I take it you're ahead on the 60-foot time at this stage?
Yeah, I didn't do too well earlier. I had a bit too much air in my back tyre. bit too much wheel spin, and yeah, let it down a bit now, so it's a good thing.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Well, thanks for your time today, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, we've got here Dave. He's got a custom Monster S4R. Tell us a little bit about the bike, Dave.
It's basically all the motor and everything's basically standard on it. I've built a 2-into-1, got a few bits and pieces of pipe off Pato, and cut and shut and did this and did that, and away we went. I just love the sound of a 2-into-1. Power commander, that's all hooked up, and just a Ducati performance filter, and then away we went. I've actually put the thing on the bottle. I haven't given it a run yet, so I've got no idea what it'll do. Hopefully I won't go down there and blow the bastard up, because it'll cost me too much to fix it. But because I could have put it inside the manifold runners, but the further away you put it from the valve, the more torque it makes, as opposed to top end horsepower.
Okay.
And I'm chasing the torque, so I just made a spray bar, threw a couple of nozzles, solenoids for each, and then after that it's just a matter of putting in the fuel and the nitrous. You can set it up as a dry, so it's just dry nitrous oxide, and then you have to put the extra fuel in with the computer.
Yep.
So it depends on whether the injectors will flow it and that sort of thing. So I just went for a wet system. It's nice and easy and simple. It gives it a really hard hit. So yeah, it's all good.
We're going to see it take off, that's for sure.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, a few more runs and I'll fine tune it, and then we'll go from there.
Now, Nikki, I understand you've had your first motorbike race.
First motocross race.
Motocross race?
Yes, on board the 1988 250 KX Kawasaki, fully rebuilt. Had the first race, 3 laps with about 11 other ladies up at Noble Falls recently. Absolute ball. There was mud, there was rain, there was slush, you name it, it was there. Had an absolute ball, as did all the other ladies that turned up. I've just been out for practice, just ready to get helmeted up to go out the track for the first 3 races. Probably about 8 ladies that have come as far as Mandurah, come out, and also from Beverley. So we'll grab some action out on the track and see how we go. Hopefully we get to stay on the bike. Get this show on the road. Unfortunately, the bike got a bit of stage fright for race 2 and 3, so we had to sit it out and
Oh, no.
actually stand at the sidelines and cheer everybody else on. A little bit disappointing,
Yes.
but I must say that overall the day was absolutely brilliant, and I cannot wait for the remainder of this season and looking forward to 2009. Perhaps not necessarily on a Kawasaki.
You mean on a machine that'll start?
Let's not be facetious. But I must say thanks very much to Kawasaki in Midland in WA who helped us out immensely.
Fantastic. Well, rebuild's not an easy undertaking.
No, it's not.
And-
Very expensive, but a lot of fun. And
So how many practices did you have before the race on the rebuilt motorbike?
the bike has possibly done about 12 hours.
Okay.
So I only got probably about 3 rides in, but they were good, steady,
Yep.
hard rides.
Yep.
But no, a lot of fun, really looking forward to it, and thanks very much to the support shown for the ladies. It was absolutely brilliant.
And how did you go?
I think
Oh, here we
I
go.
finished first. No, that's what I thought I finished. Probably out of the 11 ladies, probably finished about 6th or 7th.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Great fun.
And that was a lot of fun.
Okay.
A lot of support shown.
Now, we showed the last round of the motocross recently, which means that we're now in the motocross off-season. Have there been any developments or anything coming up in the off-season?
Well, there's a lot of talk about who's changing teams, who's riding with this team, who's riding with that. Let's not speculate because a lot of ink has not been signed on the dotted line yet.
Okay.
There's a lot of presentation evenings coming up. We'll be taking a look at the WAMX presentation evening in later on down the track.
That sounds like a bit of fun.
Yeah, a lot of people will be turning up. There'll be presentations for the Ladies State Championship, the Pro Opens, Pro Lights, veterans. So that'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that.
I'm tipping Michael Edison's going to get a lot of silverware.
I think so.
Fantastic,
Yeah, I think so.